Welcome to our earnings. We are in London. In past earnings calls and over the course of 2 decades, we've been involved in many of the most important things that have affected Western society. But what makes these times special is the trends that we believed would happen are happening at an accelerating rate. And what's super interesting is, why is the broader world so late in recognizing how these things are accelerating, what's happening? What is the genesis of the escapism that our broader institutions, financial, cultural, legal, technical, why are they escaping to the metaverse or faculty lounge jargon, or political structures that are clearly not solving problems, where inputs and outputs are totally anti, if at all, correlated? Why is it that we are unable to see the violence that is occurring as truly something that it will be part of our ongoing future and not as episodic? Why do we describe these things as uncertainty when they are certain and are happening? Why is it that our institutions are not even pretending that they will be able to hold the center, while simultaneously pretending the center will coagulate to a center independent of new structures, new ways of doing things, of new products, new institutions, new ideas? Part of that is we have theological structures around how we build, for example, in our space, products, and that theology presupposes that the world will be stable. So specialized things we build for both commercial and, for example, special forces, things that are powering current events now were built over the last 2 decades precisely because if you are in the periphery doing the most sensitive, important work in the world, as you need to be able to interact with your software in a way where it's disconnected and then reconnects. Simple problem, normal software sucks at it. You need a very specialized product. We've been supplying this to the world's most important elite soldiers for nearly a decade under the context of what we call nexus peering. You need an ability to interact with space where you solve certain problems involving compute and involving the reduction of data using colloquially defined AI tuned by Foundry, getting that to the soldier. You need to be able to, in the context of commercial entities, rebuild the supply chain because there's war. There's obviously going to be food shortages. There's disruptions. You can no longer get certain resources from countries. You have to get them from others overnight. The systems literally presuppose that will never happen, and therefore fall completely apart when it does happen. There is no plan for when it doesn't happen. This is why, even though we've been a completely focused product company that is only focused on building these products, and we have new products coming and not as focused on actually convincing people that we're right, they still sell. And because the other products are not built for this world. You have a financial context, just like we have raging inflation. We are very likely to see this war increase. The risk of a nuclear event is so much higher than is being presented in the public world that it's almost surreal to watch the coverage. And yet, there's really no idea of what you would do with evaluating the quality of revenue. So that, Palantir, for example, we are a company to thrive in good times, and we thrive in bad times. We are not built in the way the theologians of our financial institutions would love us to be built, so that you're built, exactly like if we had listened to them, we would only be growth and no free cash flow. We're a company that throws off free cash flow. We're a company that expected inflation. We obviously super committed to the mission, but was obvious to us, even at inception in bad times, the quality of government revenues would be crucial, because other revenues would suffer from inflation. They would have a lower quality. They'd be less sticky. We built these products for the right reasons, and we're not ashamed to say that we're winning, maybe because we were right. We didn't want to be right, but some of this stuff was so obvious. It was obvious that these institutions, the theology of how we model these things in every context, is just corrosive. So you end up with the wrong products, the wrong quality of revenue. So you have growth without free cash flow, or free cash flow without growth. You have products that work now that can be hyped up with sales, but clearly are not going to work the day after tomorrow. No ability to build new products. Why would you build new products? You're going to have this perfectly tinkered model, get the institutions to invest in you and acquire all these companies that actually build products. Yeah, but it's nearly impossible to build products for tomorrow. There aren't companies to acquire. You actually have to do it yourself. Sure, here and there you can look for things to accelerate. Palantir has done that. So we at Palantir are not fleeing to a different world, whether it's the meta world or a theological world or a financial version of theological world, or a grad school version of the theological world, which isn't even actually academic, because academic presupposes interacting with the object from a theoretical perspective differentiated from the object, not importing a theological preconceived version of the object onto the theory and re-importing that onto the object. Products don't work like that. Reality doesn't work like that. Palantir, we are playing a critical, crucial, and much bigger role than we're allowed to mention or whatever discuss in public in current events. Obviously commercially, because our partners and other future partners are being disrupted, their supply chains are disrupted, there's a threat of a disruption in the broader economy, and many realize that the reality of a truly monumental, epic, and horrific disruption in the form of a nuclear attack is much higher than is being reported. But also in the government context, where we are playing an outsized role, and we're very proud of that, and we're proud of the people we're able to support, and we're also eager to continue to help to support them. Must also say the people who've watching this, many of whom share our belief that the future is to be won by people who accept the reality of what it is and not what it ought to be, that you can only change the ought by accepting what is, that you've stuck with us and I hope will stick with us, and we are going to continue supplying the world's most important products to the most interesting, creative, and effectual people in the world, and continue to thrive as this hybrid company that is both bull and bear and comes into full stride in both environments, but in absolutely anomalous stride when times are rough and people are hiding. Palantir's products are on the absolute front line, and you see them in the news every day. And we would love someday to discuss exactly what we're doing, but we are playing a good role, and your support and buying into the world as it is enormously important to us. Thank you.